in 0.2 miles, enter roundabout, then take first exit.
I can see the sign ahead, first exit is off to the left, so internal mirror signal left. I'm not going to signal just now. Wait a bit closer, no following traffic behind anyway, so signal left now.
Enter roundabout, then take first exit.
So planning to stop but looking to go, so slowing down, going from 4th gear down to 2nd. It's clear as I look to my right and I look to my right again. I'm now into a national speed limit. So accelerating up through the gears. Road bends to the right ahead, I've got a works access on the right.
Drive 1.1 miles, then turn right.
So now approaching 60 miles an hour, which is the maximum for this road. The road then bends to the left, it looks like a sharper bend, so as I approach I'm checking my mirror, easing off the gas. No following traffic.
Turn right, then arrive at destination.
Still off the gas completely, covering the brake, and gently back on the gas as the road straightens back up, checking my mirrors. Same again, left hand bend coming up, not quite as sharp but easing off the gas slightly. Checking my mirror before and after the bend and squeezing back on the gas. We've now got 30 miles an hour and 300 jars and we're approaching a heavy vehicle. 200 jars to the 30, so I'm off the gas now, checking my mirrors again. No following traffic, but I'm having to squeeze the brakes to bring it down to from 50 to 30. And I'm down my gears from 4th gear to 3rd gear as well.
Turn right.
So at the end of the road I'm going to be turning right, so internal mirror, right door mirror and signal to the right, just as the van is ahead. The van's only got one brake light, so I'll be aware of that in the future in case it brakes as it goes around the left hand bend and I don't notice. Still in 2nd gear, crawling forward on the clutch. Got traffic coming from the right, so I'm going to come to a hard stop. I'm down into 1st gear. Traffic from the right is all signalling to come round, so it's not passing the front of me. But I'm waiting until they physically turn before I make my exit. As I straighten up into 2nd gear, traffic lights ahead have changed from green to amber and now to red, so I'm just crawling up to the white line, no point in accelerating, and then coming to a hard stop. So just letting the weight of the car roll forward in 2nd gear.
Arriving at destination.
Coming to a stop at the line, into 1st gear, handbrake on, off the foot brake, finding the bite. Hand is still on the handbrake, ready to go. As the lights change, checking my internal mirror, right door mirror, make sure no one's trying to pass on a bike or a motorbike. Up over the bridge and we're now back into a national speed limit road, so checking my mirrors and accelerating up through the gears. 40 miles an hour at the moment, 45, 50, up to 4th gear.
0.7 miles, then turn right.
Pedestrians on the right, van emerging from the right. I'm just above 50 miles an hour in 5th gear at the moment. 55 miles an hour.
0.5 miles, turn right, then turn left.
So the next instruction is at the end of the road to turn right and then immediately turn left. Cars emerging from the right, I'm okay with that, they're coming this direction, they're not crossing my path. I can see the road sign now showing the right hand turn and then the left hand turn. I'm off the gas now as I approach the traffic in front of me. Haven't touched the brakes just yet. We've also got a cyclist now that have disappeared from that van, so I'm now checking my brakes, or my mirrors and braking. And there's now safety past the cyclist as we approach a new speed limit as well, so 40 miles an hour, and a stop line.
Turn right, then turn left.
At this junction I'm coming to a complete stop whether I wanted to or not. So rolling right up to the line, I haven't even looked left and right yet, I'm down in the 1st gear, now I start to look left and right. And it's clear both sides, I've checked twice. Mirror signal left.
Turn left.
And we're coming into a 30 mph zone.
Drive 0.4 miles to destination.
Now we've got a boy in the scooter there, he was about to overtake the pedestrian. He looked over his shoulder, saw me, so he didn't bother. I can see in my mirror that he's just skipped past the pedestrian now. Road on the right is closed, and as you go downhill, uphill and bends to the left. So just lifting my head a bit to see over the hill just that bit sooner, and the road bends to the right. I'm just under 30 miles an hour, about 28, 29 miles an hour. You can see we're coming into a 20 zone, and we've got parked cars littering the streets both left and right. We've got an oncoming van, so checking my mirrors, squeezing my brakes, being prepared to come to a complete stop because there's also a car behind the van. Yep, I'm going to have to wait for him as well. So I'm down into first gear. I'm just easing off the brake and letting the gravity roll me down the hill. Finding the bite, up off the clutch, back on the gas. Got a heavy goods vehicle coming towards me just slightly further up the road. I'm going to get over this big cushion and then decide what I'm going to have to do, see how much space I've got. So slowing down, the van has given way to me, so that's fine, I'm happy with that. I don't need to slow down any further, but I did have the space on my left before the red car to use if I needed it. Wave of thanks to the driver and follow the shape of the road. I like to use white lines as lava. If your kids might remember that game, the floor is lava. When you're on a road like this, I use white lines as lava to try and focus your steering and your position and your side of the road. Coming up to a mini roundabout, we're going to turn right.
Turn right.
2 mirror signal right, slowing it down, plan to stop, look to go. It's clear, I'm going to continue. And second gear. Got a cyclist coming down the hill, quite wide from the curb.
Continue 2.6
young cyclist as well.
miles.
So as we follow the bend to the right, very bumpy road. I'm going to be aware of loose chippings in the road, or rubble, potholes. Going uphill, it's about national speed limit halfway up this hill. So maintaining a safe 30 miles per hour, still trying to accelerate though. And now I squeeze the gas a bit more as I get into the national. Still in third gear. As the road flattens out at this point, I could go to fourth. I'm going to do that, although it's not necessary because we've got a bend to the left. I'm easing back off the gas again. So depending on your acceleration experiences going uphill, you might prefer to keep it in third gear all the way to the top of this hill. So I'm back down to third gear for this bend. And it's quite a bendy road all the way up to the top of the hill with some blind dips and blind corners. Those that have been with me will notice when we're doing roads like this, or will remember we've covered things like limit points. So what is your visible limit point? And being able to stop before you pass that limit point. So to give you an example of that limit point, the exact limit point is at the top of this hill just as it bends to the right, because I can't see round the hedge. As I get closer to it, my limit point is now starting to move to the right, so I now match my speed with the speed that the limit point is moving at. Or slower, certainly not any faster. So you should never be moving faster than your limit point. Heavy goods vehicle, safe on this side of the line, so I'm not having to shift my position. Lovely view of Ailsa Craig as we come up over the top of the hill as we go back down the other side. So I'm now going up to fourth gear. But I'm not accelerating down this hill. I've got the word slow on the road. That's because there's a bend to the left. So again, limit points. I'm now matching my speed with the limit point. I'm covering the brake. Got the word slow on the road again, so there's another bend coming up, this time to the right hand side. Covering my brake continuously down this hill. I'm now actually squeezing brake slightly as we go down this bend. Straightening back up again, bend to the left. Just making sure no one's catching me down the hill behind. There's no traffic behind me at the moment. Squeezing the brakes before the bend this time, which is best practice.
Miles, turn right.
Always try and brake on the straight. It's a busy hotel that we're just passing to the right, the High Grove. Very popular for lunches with the retired. Not busy at the moment with COVID, but be aware of that opening when we pass that restaurant. Coming downhill into 30, we're 100 yards away. I'm now on the brakes, slowly bringing it down from 40 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour. Now we've got traffic calming measures ahead, I've got to give way to oncoming cars. And the white car is now pulled out to overtake the black car, so I'm now going to give way here. Down into first gear, checking my mirrors to the right, making sure again no one passes me as I change my position to pull out from there. Got a roundabout ahead, we're going to take the second exit straight ahead at the roundabout because the sat nav hasn't told me where it wants to go, so I'm just going to go straight ahead. It's very closed visibility wise. You can see there's a heavy goods vehicle as it was higher than the hedgerow to my right, but I couldn't see the Audi until I'm much closer. Crawling out in first gear, off the brakes, just letting the hill slowly roll me forward. Nothing coming from my right, I'm going to continue. Accelerate up through the gears, still in a 30 miles an hour zone. Now approaching a 40. Checking my mirrors and accelerating again up through the 40. Just follow the easy sweeping bends, but still using limit points as a guide. Limit points don't apply to just country roads, they apply to town roads as well. So my limit point is technically, at this point, it's the back of the blue car, because I can't go through them. So I should be able to stop before I hit the blue car. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Traffic lights are going to turn right. So I'm now going to move out slightly to position for this right hand lane. So it takes me just over the line slightly. But it was safe enough to do so as the oncoming car wasn't that close. So we've got bus stops both.
4 then turn left.
We've got bus stops both left and right. So we're back into a scheme where there might be larger vehicles such as buses. Traffic calming measures with the islands to help people cross the road, but it's to also make sure that no one's overtaking down this stretch of road. Got to pass on the left hand side at all times. Got a mini roundabout coming up. Is this the left hand turn the sat nav mentioned?
0.2 miles.
No,
turn left.
it isn't, so I'm
right.
going to go straight ahead at the roundabout. I've got another 0.2 miles to go before I turn left. Looking right, clear to go. Traffic calming measure ahead, so I'm going to check my mirrors and move out to the right for the bollards. Just following the shape of the road again, not touching the white line or crossing it, but it's still a movement by more than the width of a cyclist. Anytime we move left or right by the width of a cyclist, we always check our door mirrors appropriately. So this is a left hand turn, 2 mirror
left,
signal left.
Then turn right.
Planning to stop, looking to go, it's clear to my right, just another second check just to make sure I haven't missed anything, there we go. And I'm going to take the next road on the right. So 2 mirror signal right. And I'm going to position myself to the right hand side now of my side of the road, so I'm not touching the white line as I approach it, but I've positioned further away from the curb than I normally would be. Trying not to cut the markings as I turn in. Parked cars both left and right, the road bends to the left, there's a parked car on the bend.
Arriving at destination on left.
That'll be the end of my sat nav part of the drive. Just lasts about 20 minutes of your test. Taking it nice and easy around that white car there, as I say, it was parked on the bend. Had to look up the inside of the car to make sure there was nothing coming. This time the road bends to the right. I'm leaning forward slightly to look beyond my A pillar, which is the pillars that hold your windscreen. Because at the angle of this road, my A pillar is bang centre in my vision. So I'm moving my head constantly there, left and right, looking out the windscreen, looking out the side window to see round that bend. Lights were not flashing on the 20, so the speed limit is still a maximum of 30. I'm doing 27 miles an hour at the moment. So I'm not taking it right up to the limit on this road because it was quite a constant, continuous bend there. Slowing down just as I see the white car appearing. There was always room for us, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking any risks, especially with the oncoming driver. I don't know what he's going to do, whether he's going to sacrifice any position and let me through. There's some parked cars on the left next to the shops. Got a car waiting ahead to pull out for some other parked cars, so I'm slowing down. I've checked my mirrors, I'm easing off the gas. No need to change gear. So no need to lift my left foot onto the clutch. I've got an open door, I'm making sure that's an adult passenger, not a kid. Again, we've got a parked vehicle, some slow traffic far ahead. Checking my mirrors, moving out. No need to signal, no one behind me. And I'm moving out without changing my speed that time as well. At the traffic lights we're going to turn right. So 2 mirrors, signal right. Stay in this position, wide from the curb and into the second lane on approach. Leaving tyres and tarmac for the car in front, so I should be able to see his tyres touch the tarmac at all times. If I can't, I'm too close. And if he breaks down before moving off again, then I would need to reverse to get past him, which is not ideal. So always leave yourself an escape path, if you like, to get past the hazard in front. Now we've got a bus in the bus stop on the left, no brake lights on, so he's got it in park. Most buses are automatic. At the roundabout, I'm going to take the second exit straight ahead. Looking to my right, clear to go. Past the first exit, 2 mirror signal left, taking the second exit. Following the shape of the road round the outside of that roundabout. At the traffic lights ahead, I'm going to be turning left. They've just changed to green, so there's a chance they'll stay green by the time I get there. But I'm aware of the traffic behind. It's a red car, probably about 5 or 6 car lengths. I've got time to stop and brake safely without that car coming into the back of me. Put my signal on now to the left. Handbrake on into first gear. Left hand is on the handbrake, as I expect the lights will change relatively quickly. I can't see the traffic lights pointing the other direction to see whether they've went to amber or not, so I've got no clues as to where my lights are about to change, but there's my filter light now. So quick check in the mirrors as I release the handbrake. Quick check to the right as well to make sure there's no emergency vehicles coming through or any amber gamblers. Accelerate up through the gears, we've got a roundabout ahead, we're going to take the first exit left. So there's a bend to the right on approach to the roundabout, and it goes downhill this bend as well, so I'm off the gas completely now, checking my mirrors, starting to squeeze the brakes, 2 mirror signal left. Very open roundabout as I get to this point, so very easy to make a decision to keep it going. Straight back off the roundabout, and we've got a warning of cyclists on this road. We're in the national speed limit at the moment, so accelerating up through the gears. out slightly from the drains there. A couple of the drains were a bit wider. Tarmac roundabout, it was sunk. Now the road bends to the left ahead and then bends back to the right on approach to a roundabout, at which I'm going to take the second exit. So I'm braking now for the first bend. Still on the brakes, I haven't changed gear, I'm still in fourth gear. I'm now going to change gear and come off the brakes. Bring it down to second gear. Starting to look to the right, there's quite a bit of traffic, but it's been stopped by traffic on the roundabout, so I've got my gap to keep it going. Past the first exit, 2 mirrors and signal left. Onto the dual carriageway, still national speed limit, but of course with it being a dual carriageway it's now changed from 60 to 70. So accelerating up through the gears again. While I'm on this stretch, I'm going to go back to talk about the bus and the bus stop. I mentioned there was no brake lights on, so therefore it was in park. So most buses are automatic. If you see a bus in a bus stop with the foot on the foot brake, as soon as those brake lights go out, there's a very strong chance the bus is going to start moving. Sometimes bus drivers don't indicate, so look at the brake lights as a clue to see whether it's going to move or not. If it's stationary and the brake lights suddenly come on, you would think that was unnecessary, but that's the driver selecting drive from park. So again, another clue that they're about to drive away, just in case they don't indicate how. I'm going to take this slip road off to the left, 2 mirrors and signal left. Haven't eased off the gas, it's a nice easy angled slip road from the dual carriageway. Now that I'm in the slip road, the decelerating lane, I'm easing off the gas, cancelling my signal. I'm going to take the third exit off to the right, so 2 mirrors and signal to the right hand side. I position myself to the right hand side. The hill's been slowing me down so far, but I'm now squeezing the brakes, bring it down further, planning to stop but looking to go. After this black car, I think it's safe. I have second check and I've decided it is. I'm going and I'm staying in the right hand lane. Signal's still on, just to confirm that I'm happy to skip past these exits. Now I'm taking the next exit, so 2 mirrors, signal left, and as early as I can and as safely as I can, I get over to my left hand lane in preparation for that exit. Do not wait until you see your exit before you mirror and signal to the left, and do not wait until you see your exit before you position yourself to the left. Always do things in good time. So still a national speed limit, but again we're on a single track road. Well, not a single track, but a two-way road. It's not a dual carriageway. So speed limit is 60 miles an hour, and at the roundabout I'm taking the first exit to the left. 2 mirrors and signal left as I approach, starting to squeeze the brakes now, planning to stop, looking to go, down into third gear. I've now got a very good view and very easy decision to make there. Going, staying in the first lane, my signal's cancelled, so I'm going to put it back on because I'm still taking the first exit. As we come round the bend, we've got a heavy goods vehicle and a 40 limit. Cancel the signal and up to 40 miles an hour and fourth gear. So I've got a blind hill ahead, so again going back to limit points. So lifting my head up out my shoulders, just make myself a bit taller just to see over the hill that bit sooner. You can see there's a roundabout with 3 exits. We're taking the second exit straight ahead, so no mirror, no signal on approach, but just a mirror check and then a brake. Planning to stop, looking to go. White van is signalling, so I'm coming to a stop. Into first gear, clear to the right, and I'm now making progress up into second gear. Mirror signal left. Coming off the roundabout, back up to 40 miles per hour as a maximum. And as we approach the last roundabout on this route, I'm going to take the first exit to the left back towards the test centre, so 2 mirrors, signal left. Starting to brake now, planning to stop, looking to go. You'll hear me saying that quite a lot now. It's clear to go, so I've made my decision just to drop it one gear, the third gear, and keep it going, and take that corner in third gear. You could easily have took it in second as well. Take the next road on the left. This time I'm going down to second gear, and while I'm in this car park, I'm never going to be above second gear. Signalling to the right towards the car park, looking left and right twice. It's clear to go. Always keeping it nice and slow. Following the bend to the left. The examiner at this point will just ask you to park in a bay on the left hand side. If you haven't done any reversing at all on your route, which we haven't done today, he may ask you to reverse into the bay. So that's what I'm going to do just now. Got my reference point, come to a stop, 360 degree checks as this check, select reverse, find the biting point, double checking my shoulders, it's clear to go. As soon as I start moving, full left lock into the bay. Continuously looking over my shoulder and out the side, especially to the right, which is my biggest blind spot. Looking for my reference points to find out when to straighten up, which is about now. So straightening up, keeping it nice and continuous speed if I can. Make sure it doesn't speed up as it goes slightly downhill into these bays. And coming to a stop when I think I'm in the bay, which is there. Handbrake, neutral, relax the legs and await the next instruction.